Hi, I'm Mark Adams, and this is episode 54 of Marksmess Podcast. We're with my daughters, Charlotte and Catherine.
Catherine, Charlotte.
Charlotte and Kath.
Catherine, Charlotte.
Charlotte and Kath.
That's right.
Charlotte and Kath.
We look at the world of geekery and we use Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the cartoon, as our reference point. People can contact us via email
mymarksmess@gmail.com
or on Twitter,
at Marksmess Podcast without the T.
at some other webpage, and on Facebook.
My Marksmess Podcast.
My Marksmess Podcast.
No.
Just Marksmess Podcast. Just search for that. After the last episode that was went up, Gene Hendricks contacted us, and he gave a brief synopsis of how the podcast goes. He gave me a script, and it goes like this. Let's talk about the plot of this episode.
No, we're going to talk about how stuff looks.
But what about the story?
We didn't understand that because we were too concerned with how stuff looked.
Okay, thank you very much, Gene. That is exactly how it goes every single time. He did say it reminds him of conversations with his daughter.
We did understand it.
Maybe this time we'll get a very erudite conversation.
I think the language of the characters influences their surroundings and how they are portrayed by the writer.
Well, knock me over with a brick. I should say... Ow, where on earth did you get that brick? I should say that maybe at some point I should look up what erudite actually does mean, because I've been using it this past week for no reason.
Means?
Erudite.
Never heard of it. Sounds like some sort of stone.
Like a magic stone.
No, like the types of stones you get.
You've got granite, sandstone, and erudite. Okay, that's fair enough. If you do want to listen to teenager talk very nicely about stuff, you can pop along to the Fire and Water Network, where Irredeemable Shag's daughter talks about the new Black Widow movie. And we will be talking about that at the end with a special guest, basically the girl's mother, my wife. There'll be spoilers galore. That's why it's at the end. So if you haven't seen it, don't continue. Don't listen to that part, because it's a pretty good movie. But here is the thing. This is the first time we've been at the cinema for over a year.
Not me.
What did you go? Oh, yes, you went with your friends. What did you go and see?
I saw In the Heights.
In the Heights, that's the new musical one, the Hamilton-esque that isn't a rap.
Oh, it's by the same writer, yeah.
Yeah, and what type of music was it?
I don't really know. It's just kind of loads of different ones.
Right. But
It's hard to describe. But it was good.
Did you come out of the cinema wanting to sing and dance all the way out? That's okay. So we went along to the cinema, and our local cinema is about 10 miles away, so it's not that far. We booked the tickets online. We went as a family. Somebody had bought us a voucher a year or so ago, so we were using that. So it was a free...
It must have been Christmas 2019.
Yeah, it was a free go at the cinema. We also had a card that you girls used to buy...
Popcorn and drink.
I know...
Well, we didn't have any popcorn to bring.
Well, I brought my wee flask of tea and my wee pot of carrot sticks and chocolate.
I brought sandwiches because it was near lunchtime.
I had sandwiches as well. It was nice.
It was good. I brought Skittles.
No, not just
Skittles, giant Skittles.
Yes.
I mean, they were humongous. They had a seat of their own. It was that big. But talking about the seats, this is the first time we've been in the cinema for a while. When I booked the tickets, it said VIP, and I thought that meant you had to choose which seats you were taking, because, in the COVID world, they want to make sure that people are distanced from each other and you're not sitting right next to people. So we had to pick our seats, and so there's nobody beside us. And we thought there'd be nobody behind us, but there were. But these cinemas had changed from being just the flip-up seats you get in cinemas to being big, comfy leather seats with wee tables that fold out. And it was quite a surprise. It was amazing.
And then we found out when we were sitting at the end waiting for the end credit that the seat you could lift the feet up with the button and the head would go back.
I think I would have been asleep at that point.
I knew the whole way through.
And you didn't tell us.
You never asked.
You did. I didn't ask if it had an ejector seat either.
What the thing beside you was for?
Catherine,
It was dark.
dark.
It's dark.
Not the whole time.
But how was the experience of going to the cinema, Charlotte? Because you haven't been for a while. Did you feel safe?
Yeah.
I get quite apprehensive about going out to places that I don't know whether there's going to be, you're able to social distance or other people are going to be responsible. But I found it quite good. The usual problems with being in the cinema, with people being noisy and eating noisy things. Who brings packs of crisps to the cinema? Who?
You both don't seem to like crisps in general. You don't like crisps for our movie night either.
It's a noise. We watched a movie last night. There was a big emotional scene. All I heard was of Catherine eating a crisp.
It literally said, we put subtitles on when snack time comes, and it literally said dramatic music, and all you heard was...
I give one to the dog, though, so it's fine.
No. This is not where you sacrifice your crisps to the dog of movies. There. Anyway, no. It was a great day out.
There's lots of leg room, so that was good.
Oh yes, because
Even though I sit with my legs up, but
No wee kid could kick your back seat with them, or else they'd be on your back seat.
yeah, and if somebody had to come in past you, you wouldn't have to get up. You'd hardly notice it.
Also, when you were going into the actual building, they scan your wrist or something to check your temperature, and then it goes, was it clear or...
No, right. So what happens is there's this wee tar-looking thing, and then you, on the right side of it, you swipe your wrist and it goes, safe. I don't know what it does if you're not, like...
There was also sinks, so you could wash your hands, which was very good. It was weird they'd installed sinks
in the entranceway. So it was a good day. A thank you to the people who bought us the voucher for our local cinema. It was well used, and I think we've got enough on it for another trip. Yes. Shang-Chi.
Although no snacks.
No snack. Bring your own snacks.
Well, I'll have to buy popcorn.
I don't know what your experience is, listener, but our local cinema, they don't even check if you've got snacks or anything. You could come in with a big rucksack and they don't care.
I saw the family in front walk in with a clear bag filled with snacks.
I don't think over here that's like... I think you're allowed to bring in stuff over here as long as it's not like McDonald's or anything.
I think there was a legal case where the court said, well, their main source of income was not the snacks, even though the price of the snacks you'd think it was. So you are allowed to buy. But it's nice when you get, our local cinema, they do popcorn, sweet or salty, they do drinks.
They do mixed.
Can you mix the popcorn?
Yeah, someone beside us got it mixed.
Did you not know that?
No!
Another thing you didn't tell us.
I would have wanted sweet and salty.
Right, could you tell us everything about the cinema?
Yeah.
But you can also get nachos and dips and hot nuts.
They usually do like a pick and mix with sweets, but it wasn't open because COVID.
But my favourite thing from when I was a child... My favourite thing to eat at a cinema from when I was a child is a bag of Revels. Revels are from, I assume they're just a British thing. They're a bag of wee small chocolate sweets, and you've got different types in it. There's Maltesers in it, there's flat ones, which are just chocolate, there's toffee ones, there's raisin ones, and there's orange ones.
It's not coffee too.
When I was young, there was coffee, and nobody liked the coffee.
They are British, they're made by Mars.
I know, but Mars is a worldwide thing. So what you did in the cinema was you knew the flat ones were chocolate, so you kept the flat ones for last in case you got a toffee one as the last one. A coffee one as your last one.
I've just Googled it. So originally they were orange cream coconut toffee, peanut centers, and then galaxy counters and Maltesers, but they must have swapped out coconut for coffee.
Yeah, but they've taken away the coffee. There's no coffee now.
I remember there's coffee.
Yeah, but I have never had... all the past 10 years, I have not had a coffee.
I don't like
I've had a coffee.
Yeah, a coffee like Revels one. Yeah. Well, it must be you must win a tour of the factory or something if you get a coffee one, the equivalent of the golden ticket. That was my favourite cinema snack. Catherine, what is your favourite cinema snack?
Does it have to be a food?
What? Well, snacks usually are. Are you going to go? Have you been eating bricks again?
I don't really like eating stuff at the cinema. It's a bit weird. But
well, you fairly munched through a lot of things the other night.
Nah. No, that's not the cinema.
Okay.
But, so we don't go out to the cinema that much. So when we do go, I like to get a drink. And it's a Tango Ice Blast. It's the blue one. Which is basically like a slushie, but like the level up. Like an evolved slushie.
Is it a fizzy slushie?
I don't know, to be honest. It might be.
I think it is.
Okay. Sorry, what about you?
I like toffee popcorn.
Oh, yes. I like that.
We did go into a supermarket before we went to cinema to see if they had any, but they only had salted, so that's why we got popcorn in the cinema.
Okay.
Cinema popcorn's always very good.
No, toffee popcorn's superior.
I'm at the stage where popcorn can be dangerous for my dental routine.
I think also like for your lungs or something.
Well, if I inhale it too quickly. But anyway, right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to have 2 breaks. So I'm going to play one trailer now and one trailer after we talk about the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Hero episode, and then we'll play another trailer and then our pre-recorded bit where we talk about the spoiler-filled talk of Black Widow. Okay, so we'll have a trailer now. Every trailer I play are podcasts I enjoy listening to. Not that the girls enjoy listening to them because they don't listen to podcasts.
I listen
To music.
Yeah.
I don't know what I listen to.
You listen to Disney.
I listen to Disney music. Disney music is superior.
Okay, well, we'll see you in a wee minute with our coverage of Earth's Mightiest Heroes episode 8, which is called Some Assembly Required.
Another great snack is dry cereal. Especially, I like Crave at the minute, or Frosties. Because when you put milk in Frosties in, they're just cornflakes.
A historic moment tonight. The Berlin Wall can no longer contain the East German people.
It is 1989. After 28 years of dividing a city and symbolizing the divide of the Cold War, the Berlin Wall opens up. And from there, everything changes. Fallen Walls, Open Curtains is a podcast miniseries from Pop Culture Affidavit and hosted by me, Tom Panarese. From November 2019 until December 2021, I am going to take a look at the events that took place 30 years ago, beginning with the fall of the Berlin Wall and ending with the dissolution of the Soviet Union and the end of the Cold War. Along the way, I will be flashing back to the landmark and not-so-landmark pieces of popular culture that reflected and defined the Cold War. The first episode will drop on November 9th, 2019, and future episodes will be released quarterly at popcultureaffidavit.com and twotruefreaks.com.
Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Some Assembly Required. The first of the escaped villains to be captured is the Mandrill, who is caught by the whole team of Wasp, Thor, Iron Man, Giant Man, and Hulk. It's a 2-man. That put me off.
Giant Man? Ant-Man.
When he's giant.
Why don't you just say Ant-Man?
Because he was giant!
But he can be big Ant-Man.
Oh, I get it. Giant has the word ant in it. So it combines the two.
Literally, of millions of years of me reading comics, I never got that. Say that again, just slowly.
Alright, so the word giant combines GI onto the front of ant. So it's like Ant-Man, but also he's big as well.
I honestly never got that in all these years. Anyway, let's get back to the synopsis here. Later, the team meet outside the new Avengers mansion and have a tour around their headquarters. The Hulk is more and more aggressive throughout the meeting. That night, his conversation with his Banner side in the mirror have him believe that the Avengers are against him, and he leaves the mansion. Thor is told to bring him back, and there's a fight. There, the other Avengers are told to assemble against the Hulk, but Iron Man figures out that Hulk is being mystically controlled. Hulk breaks loose of his mind control, also freeing the real Banner in his mind, and leaves the Avengers thinking they mistrust him. It turns out that the Asgardian villains, the Enchantress and the Executioner, are behind all of this, and they beat the remaining Avengers until the Hulk returns at the behest of Banner. After the team defeat the Enchantress and the Executioner, the Hulk leaves again, saying nothing has changed, that no one trusts him. There are 2 prologues, the first being a mysterious dark-suited figure arriving in the shadows of New York, and the second is the Hulk in the Arctic wasteland, and after he screams at the sky in a Hulk-like manner, he jumps away, and we see a familiar design of a shield buried in the ice.
Ooh. It was Jarvis who discovered he was in mind control, not Iron Man.
Well, was
Iron Man made Jarvis.
Yes. But Jarvis uses all the World Wide Webness.
But it was Iron Man, it was Jarvis who said, oh, there's something weird around Hulk, and it was Iron Man who discovered it was the same type of weird, funky looking stuff around Thor's big hammer.
Mjolnir.
Anyway, so...
It's a cat.
Right, so one of the first things I noticed was when they were waiting outside Avengers Mansion with Pepper Potts, 2 figures walked by, and I noticed it was actually the Enchantress and the Executioner, and it was very subtle, it wasn't pointed out at all. I mean, it was very hard for me to even pause at the time.
They could have just straight up killed them then.
You know at the very start with your baboon guy?
Yes.
What was his powers?
He could, being a baboon and being able to jump about all over the place, but also being able to control women with pheromones. No, I know what you're thinking. This is spoiler. This would be a spoiler. We cannot talk about it. I realised that. We can add a bit at the very end, but we cannot talk about it.
That's annoying.
I know, that is really annoying. I have to look up. Put it this way, it's got no, I can't even say that. Pardon you. No more beans for you.
No,
right.
it was a censoring system like going bleep, because then that suggests swearing, Catherine. And we are a family podcast.
Okay, anyway.
Huh?
I don't know. Anyway, so, first of all, the Mandrill. What did you think of him as a villain?
Who's that?
That's the guy we just talked about.
Oh, him. Why is he called that? He's a monkey.
Is that not a type of a monkey, a mandrill?
I thought it was an orange. That's a mandarin. Hold on, let me look it up.
He really does look... Let me look up the character
Yeah.
that he looks like from The Lion King.
Oh, it is.
Oh, yeah, it was very good animation.
It is.
Show me a picture of a mandrill. Yeah, that's exactly what he looked like.
It's like you.
Rafiki. He looks like Rafiki.
Maybe Rafiki is a mandrill. I don't know.
He is!
There you go! Rafiki is in the Avengers. He's a villain, though.
No.
So,
They have some sharp looking teeth. They're really long.
the thing I liked about that was the mandrill going, the Wasp, I can beat you. Oh, Iron Man and the Wasp, maybe I can beat you. Then Thor, maybe and then Giant Man and Hulk turn up. They arrive at the mansion. What did you think of the mansion?
Well, first of all, Hulk was very impatient, and I'm wondering, is there anything to do with that, with his character?
What?
The fact the Hulk is always grumpy?
No, he was very impatient. He was like punctual, that's it.
Punctual. It is a bit of a impatient.
I said the wrong word.
Yeah, it was very polite of him to be on time.
Okay, so the mansion kind of reminds me of the school one in X-Men from like Professor X's school for folks.
Gifted young folks.
See, the Avengers Tower didn't come into the comics until the 2000s. So you had from 63 up to the 2000s.
He still had his Stark Tower.
Mm-hmm. So they're bringing it all in. And the Avengers Mansion was a huge part of the Avengers because there is a place in New York that's meant to be based on. So if we ever go to New York, how unlikely is that?
There's a map that you can find somewhere where it has every single, like, not iconic, but memorable, but recognizable filming set from any Marvel movie, and it tells you where they all are. We were at one.
Were we?
In Edinburgh.
Oh yes, in Edinburgh. Yeah, not in New York.
What was that?
That
one that was a fish and chip shop, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was a fish and chip shop in
Where
the movie, but it was...
Wanda and Vision were there.
I've got a photo out of me outside it. Do you remember Edinburgh?
Was it a fish and chip shop?
In the movie, it was a fish and chip shop because it had the sign, we'll batter your kebab for you.
Is that the one where they walked out of like the terrace house thing and walked up the street?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Nice.
Yeah, and then we were also at the train station where the big fight happened in Edinburgh. Yeah, we were there.
Where Steve catches the thing.
Yes.
The pointy stick.
Oh, I'll have to watch that movie again.
I know. We have to get watching our Marvel movies again.
Well,
Me and Catherine can continue them at lunchtime. So
Yeah. You get a tour around. What did you think of all the equipment in it?
Why are the Quinjets underwater? Usually that is for when the water is like visible to other folk. But why have it indoors when it's not a pool? He said it's not a swimming pool. So why have them underwater?
Well, one, a swimming pool is a pool that you swim in. It wasn't for swimming in. And two, how else are you going to get them washed? You battle Fing Fang Foom and you discover how much snot there's on it.
So if somebody breaks in, they don't know where it is.
I think if somebody breaks in, Catherine, they'd be able to find it with all the buttons. They just go button, 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 button. Oh, that opens it.
Okay, you have to predict now how long it'll be until a Quinjet crashes and burns. Until they destroy Quinjet.
Like minutes or episodes?
Episodes.
Two.
Two more episodes?
No, you can't just say the same.
I was going to
She
say
can.
two before you...
She is allowed to say the same. It's just a bit of fun. A bit of fun. Okay, so which two Avengers were staying in the mansion?
Thor and Hulk.
Thor and Hulk.
Well then, your woman might, the Wasp might have.
Wasp decided later on, because she's all excited. She's the one who's most excited about being on this team.
Is a penthouse expensive or not?
Oh yeah, that's...
They're like
Right.
the white, really fancy ones up in the tall, with all the
very
windows and like all the fancy people have them
Why
in,
would
the in the balconies and all.
Why would you want one at the very top? Because then if the lift breaks, you have to lug everything upstairs.
I think in those buildings, if the lift breaks, that you go to the second, third, fourth, or fifth lift.
And they probably fix it pretty quick.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was going with the but... Just, if it breaks on the way down, just like attach a rope to your balcony and just like, what's it called when you do that? Down like a cliff?
Abseil.
That.
Yeah,
Abseil
but getting up would be harder.
Trampoline? It's like in Rapunzel.
Just a load of trampolines on the way up. You go boing, like Mario. Like a Mario game.
Or she could just fly.
Who?
That's true.
I forgot what we were talking about.
Yeah. You're in a safe place, dear.
There was a lot of ammunition in the training room.
Oh yeah, the training room. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I didn't like the training room.
No, neither did I.
Hold on, I think I wrote something about that.
It was basically they could die quite easily in there.
Well, I assume it would like turn off before they died or something.
I don't know because
Just before when an explosion gets an inch away from their face, it just drops.
It kind of reminds me of Total Wipeout, but like for Avengers.
that's all. American Total Wipeout is on a channel. I must tape that.
Don't we watch like
No,
the
the
Australian
Brit-
one or something?
No, the British one's
British
the
one.
best. With
I think we
your
watched this.
guy.
I'm talking. I think we watched the Australian one at one point. So I remember someone with an Australian accent.
No, there was your guy.
Must have been Australia.
There was your guy Joe, who was always like a team captain. He was freckly.
Well, I supposed to know who you're talking about here.
Yeah.
Just Joe, you know.
You're thinking about the wall.
Hole in the wall.
Hole in the wall.
Oh yeah.
He's not freckly.
He is.
Since when?
Since he's had freckles.
He had them
And then
surgically
it was-
implanted.
Was it Anton
Dubek.
Dubeck
Who-
hosted Total Wipeout?
I really thought you were going to go
No,
Ant-Man.
he was the other guy. He was for the hole in the wall one.
Yes, he
Oh,
was
I
hole in
meant,
the
I
wall.
meant the hole in the wall. I'm getting
Goodness me.
Hole in the wall's better than Total Wipeout.
No, I like Total Wipeout. I like them both. You can like them both. It's
I
it's
can't
allowed.
remember what the hole in the wall one's about, but I remember
Basically,
that
there's a hole in the wall. You had to make that shape in the wall.
Or else you go in the water.
Yeah,
That's like that one game on the
Bring on
Wii.
the wall.
That's
Yes,
like having
yeah.
that bubble.
You didn't let me finish my sentence.
No, because we're meant to be talking about this blooming cartoon.
Let me say about it's like that one game on the Wii where you have to like move the Wii remote to make your person the shape of the bubble so you don't like die or something.
Okay, right. Let's get past.
You know when they said, "Here's the assembly hall," I thought all that came into my head was Good morning, Mr. Stark.
Like
Yeah,
school
yeah,
sounds
that's
like a
very
really
similar.
creepy robot.
So this is at like the very start.
Why didn't
But
you say it then?
I didn't get a chance. So why is the police officer wearing a skirt?
There's a woman.
And
She's got a choice of wearing a skirt.
she's trying to like shoot some monkey-looking thing. Why, like a skirt's hardly gonna.
Sorry. There's the mandrill who can use pheromones to control women. There's a woman who can shrink herself to the size of a wasp in his wings. A man who can make himself 200 foot tall. A man in a suit that flies about. A green guy who's got incredible strength. A Norse god with a hammer. And the thing you can't believe is a policewoman wearing a skirt.
Nah. But it's not just a skirt. It's one of those ones where you can't even move.
Like, do you know that? It could be stretchy.
It doesn't look stretchy.
Catherine, it's a cartoon.
And because like, see, we used to have those type of skirts in school, and you'd barely be able to walk up the stairs in them.
Oh yeah, I ripped mine like twice.
Maybe she doesn't have to go up the stairs. There's lifts. Anyway, let's get back to the cartoon. Oh, good grief.
Black Panther at the start kind of reminds me of Batman.
Yeah, it was a very... He was. He came in...
throughout it.
Yeah.
You know your man that was sitting beating up people at the water bit?
Oh, I thought that was in the middle.
No, it was fairly near the start. It was very Batman-esque.
I noticed that Hank Pym was making Ultron instead of Hulk and Iron Man.
In the comic books, it was Hank Pym who created Ultron, the first Ultron. So quite often Ultron calls him Father. Hello, Father. That's the way Ultron speaks in my head. Hello.
In the cartoon, Hulk, Bruce Banner is less prominent and he's not as much of a scientist so far. And then neither is Stark really.
Well, Banner has agreed with Hulk that Hulk can be full-time in control. But I like the way they've still got Banner in the background. Literally.
That Bruce Banner's more like... Okay, you know that one movie? I can't remember which one it
Incredible Hulk.
was. Was that the one
Yeah.
with the dog in it?
Yeah.
It's more like that.
We have to judge movies by dogs. That's just the way we are.
Yeah. What's the
I thought that was a better comic-like Banner than the current guy who I've forgotten the name of. Why have I forgotten his name? Mark Ruffalo. Anyway,
Every time I hear his last name, all I think of is the Gruffalo boy.
Oh, I think of the Raspberry Ruffles.
right. Can we move on with the cartoon? Oh, wait a minute. We've got the Hulk.
I know. Okay, go.
No, the Hulk gets up in the middle of the night. He can't sleep and he leaves. But he's got the Banner has been talking to him and telling him nobody trusts him. And then Thor goes out after him. Yeah.
I noticed that Iron Man must have made Wasp's card shrinkable because she was in her small form and she took out the card when she got the call.
I noticed that as well. I think it's just anything within her
Suit.
Yeah, shrinks and grows.
So, you know when they're going underground in the mansion?
Yes, going back
like
here. Yeah.
the elevator thing.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me. So you know, Into the Spider-Verse, the shed. It reminds me of that.
Okay, thanks for that. Let's get on to the Thor versus Hulk.
You know when big Giant Man appeared, it wouldn't have been that hard for the Hulk to flip him over because is he not the same weight as normal Hank?
Oh, don't think about that too much. Do not think about that too much.
I'm pretty sure we talked about this last time.
Yeah, we did. You don't think about that too much. This is just, it doesn't make sense. If you think about it, it doesn't make sense, so don't think about it. Have it at the edge of your eyesight, but not on the main focus. It doesn't make sense.
Watch, don't think.
Who would win in a fight between Hulk and Thor?
Probably Thor, because he can like fly and just zap him from the sky.
Okay, it's been an age-old question. That's one of the big fights throughout the years. And there's no real answer. It depends who's writing it and whose comic it's in.
Aye, and it depends how angry Hulk is and how... Dunno.
Yeah. How useful is the Executioner's axe? What type of things do it do?
It slices through, like, time or something.
Yeah, through space, I would guess.
That looks like his Dark Materials, the knife, Will's knife from
I
that.
couldn't remember what it was, but I know what it was now.
Yeah. There was also ice, there was also blasts, there was also...
Slicing things.
They got...
Slicing things, dicing things.
Was he accurate to the comics? Because if he was, then they got the guy in Ragnarok accurate to the cartoon, to the comics.
He would have been accurate to the comics, the guy in Ragnarok. He was... I haven't really read much of Executioner, but there was one comic, Simonson's run on Thor, where the Executioner has the guns and he's shooting, just like the movie.
Des and Troy. Was that his guns?
Well, I don't know what they were in the comics, but I can't remember what they were in
Is
the
that the
movies.
bald guy?
Yes.
Okay.
One with the axe.
And they're like
That he-
tattoos on his head.
Yeah. Tattoos.
You kind of?
Yeah, that's not really how people speak.
Like saying.
So anyway, do you think the Hulk was right that people didn't trust him?
Yes.
Why do you think people didn't trust him?
Because he... Well, like, at the start, he was kind of trying to kill loads of people.
Aye, but that's
But then-
because he was being manipulated.
I know, but they didn't know, like, at the very, very start, like, of the whole thing.
Was
Not
he?
this episode.
Was he?
I don't know, probably.
So, sorry, you're accusing a man of attempted murder. That's probably, he probably did it. He'd be great in a jury.
I would.
Yeah, he probably did it. He probably murdered them. This is a theft one.
When the Wasp was unconscious in Hulk's hand, they made her lips really big so it looked like a Bratz doll.
I didn't notice that. I really thought Hulk would go Betty. I've said before, I like this iteration of
Her
the
name's
Hulk.
Janet.
I know, but the Hulk's girlfriend is Betty. I do like this version of the Hulk that is more talkative. Who do you think mistrusted the Hulk the most?
Probably either Iron Man or Thor.
I think it was Thor. I think Iron Man is kind of above all this. His mind seems to be on other things all the time.
Kind of like... So say there's a classroom and like all like the chat going on. He's like the teacher that just doesn't know anything that's going on.
Yeah, I think he knows everything that's going on, but his mind is on other things as
He kinda
well.
just doesn't really care.
What do you think Nick Fury wanted with him at that point?
He didn't make the Avengers in that.
No, because we're going with the comic books here. This cartoon is quite accurate to the comic books. The second issue of Avengers, the Hulk, it wasn't to do with the Enchantress and the Executioner, but it was something else. It was a space phantom. Makes the Hulk look like the bad guy, and the Avengers fight him, and the Hulk leaves because nobody trusts him.
Seems to be a reoccurring theme.
Yeah. And with finding Captain America, it wasn't the Hulk in the comics who caused Captain America to be found. It was Namor, the Submariner, who threw something somewhere and Captain America came out.
Just went ding.
Maybe another reason they don't trust him is because he's the only one with secondary colours.
It's true. As we know, heroes have primary colours, villains have secondary colours, except when Stan Lee makes them. Who do you think trusts the Hulk the most?
Probably the Wasp.
No, probably Janet.
Yeah, I think Janet is a very, she wants the team to work well and she can see the Hulk as being somebody important. In the comic books, the Wasp eventually becomes a very good leader of the Avengers. It's not about being the strongest or the best, it's about being a good leader.
You know, what was the woman called who looked like Tinkerbell a bit?
The Wasp? Okay.
No, Enchantress. Was she wearing, like, hip-high boots or something? Because it looked like she was wearing lace-up boots that just went on forever.
Could well have been. Who knows what that woman's capable of? Diabolical. Hip-high boots. So, what do you think is going to happen next? This is not the movie. Is the bit it's not the comics. So, what's going to happen next? You've got the things that are on the table are Black Panther and Captain America.
I reckon it's going to be a combination of both. They're going to find a capsule, and Black Panther's story is going to progress.
Okay, so you think the Black Panther is going to be a slow release story?
Yeah.
You've also got a Hulk that is gone rogue.
I reckon they're going to do one clip of him in the next episode.
What do you think he's going to be doing? Mojitos on the beach?
I think so. They're gonna meet Black Panther, have a fight with him because they don't know what he's there for or anything. And then Captain America is just gonna, like, migrate in with the ocean or something. Wash up on the beach.
Yes, because he's coming from water.
Yeah, because he's frozen in ice.
Aye, but how is he gonna melt because it's cold there?
Global warming, duh.
That'll take a few hundred years.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what actually happens. So how are you finding the cartoon? Now, you two are very engrossed in the movies, and the movies are very different because the movies will change because the actors change. Actors grow old and that, but the cartoons can be different. The comic books, the guys are the same age as they were 40, 50 years ago, 60 years ago. So what do you think of the cartoon so far?
I like it.
I also like it.
I love the way Charlotte just bursts out with I like it, but Catherine does a very good analysis of I like it. It's just weird.
It's interesting because it's, like, different to the movie, but also kind of the same. The overall plot's the same, but it's kind of different.
There is a thing where in Marvel and other comic book companies like DC, you've got these other worlds where Superman is Superman, but it's slightly different, or the Avengers are slightly different. And you can look at this as another multiverse
like
version.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Very much like Into the Spider-Verse.
I have to say, I do prefer the MCU after Ragnarok version of Thor rather than the cartoon version.
Well, the cartoon is very much
his personality is that he's a Norse god.
Yeah, whereas in the movies, he's a space alien. I don't know why they changed that. It's okay, they can. The cartoon version of Thor here is quite comic accurate because it's very...
He's a bit dry.
Yeah.
He speaks like how people did, like, in Shakespeare plays.
Yes. Doth thou mother know thou'st wearing her drapes?
Yeah.
That type of thing. So in the next episode, I won't tell you what the episode is called because that's a bit of a spoiler. Ooh. But we might find out what happened to Hulk. We might find out what's happening with Black Panther, and we might find out what's happening with Captain America. Can I just say, this is the first time I really saw anything or read anything with Black Panther in it, and it made me like the character a lot. So you two know Black Panther from the movies. Which was a fantastic movie and a great introduction to him in Civil War.
Very curious what they're going to do with him now.
I think you'll be pleased with it because, yeah.
Wait, like the movie or the
cartoon?
Oh,
okay. The movie.
I meant the movie.
Oh yeah, who knows? It's going to be really hard because they've said they're not going to recast.
Yeah, good for them.
I don't know because it's the actor isn't the character.
In my head, it is.
I know, but you're young. You'll grow. It's like Doctor Who's. A new doctor comes. I go, so what? And young people go, I can't stand it. It's a different doctor. I don't know how it'll go.
Sure, was it not in the comics? Sure, he took it up.
I hope she does.
Oh, for a while.
I've heard people go, but the actor's not good enough to do it.
Oh, good grief.
You've seen her in what? One movie? Two?
Yeah, and you know about acting? I don't. I assume she'll be good enough if they give it to her.
She was good in the Black Panther one.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. Anyway, right, we're going to pause there. We're going to have another promo for another fantastic podcast.
It's going to be our promo.
And when we know it's not going to be our promo, people know who we are. People know we're going to actually do a new promo sometime because that one is really old. Well, I listened to it a month or so back, and Catherine sounds so small and cute.
Aww.
She's not like that anymore. After we come back, it'll be a pre-recorded bit where we talk about what we thought of Black Widow. And spoilers galore for that. So we'll see you in a minute or two. Bye.
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 Hi, I'm Mike Staley, and I want to welcome you to check out my new podcast, Mike's Geek World. No element of geek culture is off the table for this podcast, whether you're into Marvel, DC, anime, pro wrestling, My Little Pony, Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Japanese horror, American horror, football, movies, music, kaiju films, Super Sentai, monsters. Check out Mike's Geek World on Apple Podcasts and at mikesgeekworld.podomatic.com. Comedy, parody, light novels, fantasy, dragons.
Okay, we're now going to be talking about the Black Widow movie that's just been in the cinema, and they're full spoilers. I mean, we're not going to hold anything back, and we're going to talk about it. We went along to the cinema, as we talked about earlier. Charlotte and I have been to this MCU in the cinema before. Catherine, this was your first time seeing an MCU movie in the cinema?
Yeah.
And we also took along, because we felt sorry for her, Julie.
No, she was asked if she wanted to come. She goes, yeah.
Yeah, and Julie, this is your second MCU movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, what were your first impressions of the movie, Charlotte?
I was very confused at the very start who the characters were. I couldn't figure out who was who. It was a family, and I was like, who's who? One's got blue hair, one's got blonde. Is that the blonde character? But there's no gingers.
Yeah.
Why was it supposed to be Ginger?
Because Black Widow is Ginger in the first few movies.
I knew who it was because I saw the roots of her hair.
Oh, well,
I just thought they looked kind of like a nice brown.
I liked her blue hair.
The more women we get in this podcast, the more it turns into a fashion. Right. So what did you think of it, Julie? This is... Catherine.
Hello.
What did you think of it? You've seen all the movies, so...
Well, I can kind of guess where it fits in, kind of.
Well, they did point it out quite deliberately, without doing flashbacks and things like that. But
They did?
I really liked it. It was a very good movie.
yeah.
It kind of it didn't show any of the other Avengers, but it fit in well, like the same. I was gonna say same genre, but everything's the same genre in it. But
what about you, Julie? Your second MCU movie, you were probably a bit worried that it would be too sort of out there, actiony. But what did you think of the action in it?
It was just a good movie.
Yeah, that's good.
I couldn't remember what my first one was.
Your first one was Captain Marvel.
I can't remember what it's about.
It was about Captain Marvel.
it was your woman with the glowy hands.
The 1990s. Well, I thought it was a really good movie. I thought there was a lot more slower bits than other Marvel movies, but I think you needed that, and it was a lot more about family dynamics than anything else. It started off with them sitting at the table, then in the middle of the movie when those same characters came.
It started off with the two girls doing.
I know, but they eventually end up at the table in the opening sequence.
If it was to be between the start, middle, or end, it was at the start.
Yeah.
Like if you split it in 3, it was going to be at the start.
Yeah.
Okay.
I identified most with, what was he, Dimitri? The dad?
The red.
Is it Alexis or something?
Yeah, it was
Lex.
something like that.
Alexia,
I don't know.
the Red Guardian. Yes, we'll go with that because I think it's more to do with him being the dad and being awkward around his daughters and not knowing what to say. Should I identify with that?
Yes. I don't know.
Should you? Do you?
I don't know. But who were your favourite characters in it? Actually, Catherine, you mentioned something quite interesting. You said there were only 2 male characters in it.
Well, there was 3.
There were 3.
Kind of.
Thunderbolt Ross was in it for a wee bit. He probably had less than 2 minutes screen time. He was the American
guy who was frail and could basically collapse
No.
anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
That explained it perfectly.
The one with the evil one. What? No, what one are you talking about?
Thunderbolt Ross is the general or the senator from
Oh,
America.
no, I was talking about the plane guy.
Oh, I forgot about
The
him.
best friend who got everything arranged at last minute.
Who was
There were 4. There was
The dad figure,
yeah.
the old guy who could collapse at any minute, the best friend who got anything and everything, and the
bad
bad guy.
With the glasses.
The glasses.
And the ring.
Who was the old guy then?
The old guy, he was the one trying to arrest the ginger girl at the start.
Right, you know at the very beginning your woman was hiding in the bathroom and then your man comes in with all the people to try and get her.
Army people.
After the
got a
bit with the wee
moustache.
girls, after the bit, that's okay. You don't need to know. He wasn't in it very much. He was more of a framing character. He was there at the beginning and he was there at the end. But there were very few male characters.
Also, your woman with the purple hair was in it at the end and she was in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Who was your favourite character?
I liked the sister, what was she called? I can't remember.
Beginning
blonde
E.
Russian one.
Yeah, the blonde Russian one.
She got a dog at the end, so I like that. I can't remember
Yeah,
what the dog was called. Comment if you know what the dog is called.
She was one of my favourite characters too. Also the plane guy, because he kept complaining that they didn't give him enough time.
And then they did give him enough time and money, and they got a big, almost Avengers thing.
It was a Avengers Quinjet.
Oh, was it?
I think so.
Because I feel like in some movies they're just like, give me 5 hours and I'll get you all this stuff, where he's like, no, I need time for this.
And money.
Yes.
What about your Julie? Your favourite character?
Don't know. I just watched the story.
Yeah, no, which is perfectly fine. Quite
The
all.
woman with the ginger hair, I liked her.
The Black Widow.
Okay.
This, I
Is
was
it
about to say
Natasha or
Scarlet Witch.
Natalia? Natasha.
Natasha
Why were they
Romanoff.
widows? Why were they blank?
It's based on rumours that Russia had these female assassins, and so Stan Lee that wrote it into a story. So you had the Black Widow.
Black because
came
spy
in.
gear is black.
Yeah.
It's always black. It's not going to be
Oh,
neon
there
yellow.
were some in white. I liked the white ones.
They were ex Black Widow, so that was
Also-
the Natasha and the sister.
Also, because the suits blend into the shadows, so they're not seen.
I think there's more about that. Yeah. I mean, the white suits were for the winter, for the snow work.
It was probably the widows, probably to do with where Stanley first got it from, because the people that were trained were probably widows from the war because they had nothing else to do.
Could be. There's probably a huge history behind it that we don't know. But a good question, though. A very good question. So, what was your favourite scene?
I didn't like the bit at the end. That was too far-fetched. Where they were fighting in midair and falling through the sky.
Oh, I liked that, but that was one of my favourite
That was
bits.
too far-fetched.
It reminded me of a Bond movie where James Bond did that, was fighting Jaws, coming from jumping out of a plane. I think it was at the beginning of the movie. But it was all done with real stuntmen jumping out of planes.
Like
and this was
Jaws.
all done with, no, not the fish Jaws.
Oh,
it was a character with big teeth.
Oh, I remember it from the gate. No, that's...
Yes,
Yeah.
he was in the GoldenEye game. But I know what you mean. I mean, some of these things are really far-fetched. Even having that floating office block in the sky. Basically, it was an office block. It was an office block in the sky. That's what
It's
it was.
like the helicarrier, but evil.
Yeah, and a wee bit reminiscent of Sokovia coming down from the sky as well, from other movies. So you're looking really confused. That's okay.
It was
Also, you know the way that they broke the engine? Didn't that happen in one movie with the helicarrier? I can't remember which
Yes, the
I
first
thought when she
Avengers.
met her sister and fought round the apartment, that was quite sort of stupid, because then you would have to do a lot of work to fix it up again.
Oh, that's what me and Charlotte are going to do next week.
That's what you use.
Week.
That explains your bedroom.
That's what happened.
But, like-
his bedroom.
But like, would nobody come to see what's going on or something? Or no.
Oh, it's those Romanov girls again, fighting away. My favourite scene was the dad trying to console the daughter in the bedroom. And then starting a story and then forgetting the fact that it was an inappropriate story about how his dad made sure his hands didn't get frostbite.
By peeing on them.
Yes. I just like that, wee character moments of these are human beings, they're not just action heroes.
I liked the bit where they were fighting in the office and the bit in the sky. Where they were
Right.
fighting. It was just cool.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of bits in the movie.
Yeah, it's really hard just after maybe we saw it yesterday as we record.
Also, the bit where whatever the sister's called drops from the ceiling and does the pose thing.
Yeah, the 3-point landing is
I liked her jacket. There was a lot of theories because in the trailer you could see her lines around her forehead to get the brain thing done, and you could see Natasha had her jacket like built into her neck suits in the Avengers. There was a lot of theories that they face swapped, and Natasha was still alive, but then it didn't make sense when Natasha was dead.
I never really... Well, I suppose that would be a way of getting Natasha back. That she wasn't really that. I never really noticed the jacket thing with the pockets in the movies.
Gave it to her.
Yeah, she did at the end.
I didn't watch any trailers.
That's okay.
I just went to it.
I didn't watch any trailers either.
I know you didn't even know you were going to the
I thought
day
it was
before we
spiders.
booked it.
You think I'd be going to see it if it was?
Well, they did at the very, very start. The two children over backwards and all that. They did kind of look like spiders.
That's
seen a spider
a
before?
good point. No, but for the long legs arching out.
It's like a crab walk or something.
Yeah, but okay. Well, crabs are, eight-leg creatures. The last question. What in it has made you excited for another thing in the MCU? Quite often, Julie, these things foreshadow another project that's happening. And there's quite a few that are happening. And I think... Charlotte.
The end credit scene when the Hydra, Madam Hydra, is it?
Yeah.
She came up to the sister that I can't remember the name of.
We have to find out her name. That's
Yeah,
it started with an E and it sounded like the mum's name. Elena.
Lanya.
Is it Elena?
I don't think so. And she came up to her at Natasha's grave and go, "This is your next mission. This is the man who killed your sister," and it was Hawkeye, the sister's best friend.
So that's connecting it back to Falcon and Winter Soldier and forward to the Hawkeye TV series. Yeah.
I'm just excited for whichever movie comes next, honestly. And then, like, will your sister woman meet all the other ones? Well, I assume she does, like, if she's trying to kill one of them.
She won't meet Captain America. She won't meet...
He's on the moon.
Well, technically she could meet Captain America.
He's on the moon.
It depends where...
Which Captain America?
On the moon.
She can't meet Tony Stark because he's dead.
Might not be.
Well, unless what if he built a hologram of himself?
That's what I thought. Why didn't he just upload his conscience into a computer? I mean, he's surely smart enough to do it, and then he could be New Jarvis.
Well, I think his intellect could be loaded. There's enough memory for his intellect, but not enough for his ego.
Whoa.
It was the first movie I've watched in a long time and not done any knitting through it.
That's true.
Because you can't knit in the cinema.
Well, you could.
Well, you could, but it's a bit dark.
The old time I was holding up a sweet to my face and going, "What flavour is this?" And then the screen got really bright and it goes, it's orange.
Okay, one of the big things is, Julie, you actually enjoyed it. You came out of the cinema and you said you give it an 8 out of 10, which was very good.
But that was in comparison to what movie we'd watched on Saturday night.
Okay. Well, fair enough. But so the big question is, what is your next MCU step? What should Julie...
movie should you watch now?
Not just movie, but TV series.
I don't know any.
Gentle listener, could you send in your recommendations of how Julie should go? She's coming into it after, 23 odd movies, 24 movies, and she's starting to like it. But what can we do? What can we show her to help her like it even more? It's not just about having her watch standalone movies, but it's getting her immersed into this universe that's there.
Do what I did, binge watch them all in 1 week.
All right, I do
Catherine
that.
can't tell them apart though. You go, "Do you remember this bit in this movie?" And she goes,
Nah, see, they're all just one big thing.
We will not eat for a week.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. Forget to watch them all. Do we watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well?
Yeah.
And Agent Carter? You haven't seen... And none of you have seen Agent Carter but me.
Nah, I've been recommended it a lot.
Yeah,
it's on my to-watch list.
It's on. I've got the DVDs. But thank you all. Listen, folks, I think it's a big thumbs up from all of us for that movie.
Oui.
And the toilet. She really enjoyed that. The toilet bit. A French toilet. That's a bidet.
It was in Russia.
It was all over the place.
Oh, it was in Norway.
And Norway and Morocco.
Was it
Somewhere
Cuba?
in America.
I don't know if it was.
I think it was a bit.
Oh, there was a bit in Cuba.
Where she walked down the wall.
Oh yeah, I love abseiling. I want to do more abseiling.
No, she just walked down.
I was abseiling.
She was trying to go as fast as possible.
Yeah, I've done that before. We did abseiling, and we had a whole afternoon of abseiling on a weekend. It was that weekend you and I went on with the local church, and the guy said, "Turn the harness around, and you can go down forwards."
I want to do that. That sounds cool.
It was so cool. Listen, folks, thank you very much for listening to this bit at the end. Thank you very much, Julie, for joining us in this bit at the end. You've been marvellous. You've been wonderful. Marvellous. And if you would like to contact us, you can email at
mymarksmess@gmail.com.
on the Twitter.
At Marksmess Podcast without the T.
I'm not even going to do the webpage. On Facebook.
Marksmess Podcast.
And thank you to Josh Woodward of joshwoodward.com for our title music. And next time we'll be doing some more Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, seeing what they're up to. And who knows, we might have news of how much of a binge watch Julie has done of the MCU.
I could do my own podcast. I could do Julie's whatever.
First time watching?
Yes.
If Julie, that feels weird to call you that, is in popular demand, she may return.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
And for those waiting for an answer, no, the mandrill was not meant to be General Dreykov. I don't think so anyway. If you've got better answers, let us know.